The main news story today, well, I say main, it's not really. Ed Miliband's energy plan. You know this, we're going to take all the land from farmers, we're going to screw them, then we're going to put the wind farms up, or those solar panels, but the wind farm things, it's one of life's great unanswered questions, isn't it? Because most of the time it doesn't blow enough to create enough energy, so we'll have to import it from somewhere else. That'll cost more, that's not our fault because it doesn't blow enough. But then when it does, this is my favourite, when it does blow too much, we don't actually have the ability to store what's just been created. Oh, and by the way, if we did turn it off because it's blowing too much, that costs more than buying it anyway. A very good morning to the writer and co-founder of Climate Debate UK, Ben Pyle. You're on. Pylon. Never mind. How are you?
Good morning, Jeremy.
You've never heard that before, have you? I could tell by your face.
I've heard all sorts of things, you know.
Well, listen, at school I was called Kyle Pyle Hemorrhoid, so I'm quite happy to go with the joke. Ben.
It's a new one.
Yeah, no, I know. My friend, I find these conversations, maybe it's just me, maybe I'm too set in my ways. How can anybody with a brain cell honestly say that billions and billions of pounds that we can't afford because we're skint should continue to be spent on some crazy ideology that gets us to a point that doesn't achieve much, that the rest of the world is not interested about, especially, my friend, when there are so many problems in our world and in our society?
Well, I can't account for what's driving Ed Miliband and the Labour Party, and to be fair, the other legacy parties as well, and their commitments to the green agenda. I've been trying to point it out for a very long time, 20 years or so, that these price rises are the inevitable consequences of letting ideology contaminate the institutions that were developed in theory to look after us and protect our interests. And there are a number of people who have also been doing that, probably with a lot more expertise than I have in the field of energy production and markets and so on, over the same course. And everything that they've said about this, you know, the problems with the green energy agenda have come true. All of their analyses from 20 years ago, from 15, 10 years ago, from 5 years ago has come true. So it's very interesting to now see, even from within the energy, the pro net zero side is now producing reports like we've seen the one today published in the Times, or perhaps yesterday, saying that energy bills are going to rise by another £150 by 2030 if Ed Miliband's agenda is stuck to. Now that again, I'll say this is a pro net zero report, and the energy industry is now worked out that there is a massive political liability from these bills, not just because they put extra pressure on households, but that taking away that income from households then reduces the number of people who are spending that money elsewhere in the economy. Prices are going to go up in the stores, in the shops, that is to say. We're not America. And it's going to be harder for producers, manufacturers, farmers to make things at a decent price that people are used to. So those prices are going to go up. So if you listen to the people that have been pointing this out for decades, £150 is just the start of it. By 2030, Ed Miliband's clean power agenda is more likely to cost the household, not just in the form of bills, but of increased cost of living, close to £1,000 in the mid-900s, and that's for an average house.
Just to explain to me one thing, because you used a phrase there that fascinates me, because I'm very sort of straight down the line with this. You said that even those whose ideology this is have worked out that there is maximum political liability as a result of how ordinary everyday people have gone, sorry, let me get this straight. We're borrowing billions every month just to pay our debts. That's how skint we are. And yet we've got a government who seems to want to follow an ideology that makes no sense for years and further skint us, and our bills are going up. What the hell, Ben, did they expect, the British people, the electorate? Because I'm always told everybody wants climate change. I think that, by the way, is a big lie. I think people, if you ask somebody, are you concerned about climate change or the environment? Go, yeah, of course I am. But this is 15 steps further and is madness, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I think one of the problems is it's quite possible that the government has just been completely hollowed out.
Yeah.
It has no capacity to really make any judgments, and it's surrounded by what we call blobs, the corporate lobbies and academic lobbies, which are sort of very often just glorified think tanks with ideological agendas, especially in relation to climate change. And I don't mean climate science here specifically. I mean all sorts of downstream policy stuff. And there's quite a few people who have made, or quite a few organisations that are quite ideologically driven and have been driven by cash from green corporations and green billionaires that put together these stories about how there's going to be green jobs and how there's going to be a green economy and green growth. And those have been quite compelling for many people in the British establishment, and institutions, but they haven't subjected those stories to any criticism whatsoever. It's just a utopian dream, and what's left out of those analyses, if we can be so kind and call them that, rather than stories, is that is what is required by way of social reorganization, and that's a pretty comprehensive ideological agenda whereby we transfer a hell of a lot of wealth, we destroy a lot of wealth, and we sort of have to have lifestyles that are something approximate to the peasant class in the Dark Ages. I don't want to be dramatic about it because we've got new technologies, but it's not possible to have an economy like the one we have become used to up until the 2000s without having an energy source which is capable of moving things around as we need them, providing light when we need it, letting us turn the washing machine on when we were having a bath or a shower when we need them, and so on and so forth across the whole piece.
Mate, I couldn't agree more. I don't want to. You know what it's like when you're doing a show like this. We're up against it, but what I love about Climate Debate UK is that you need to tell people, because I think so many people have an opinion on this. I think so many people are just waking up, as they are with so many things, Ben, to what the reality of this is. This is ideological. It is based on a few people who want to push this, but the bottom line is, financially and in all sorts of ways, it's not sustainable. Listen, we could talk all day. I'm sort of with Donald Trump. We've got liquid gold under the North Sea, for Christ's sake, and we're skinned. I'd pay off all those debts in a heartbeat by drilling tomorrow. And all those people who go, oh, fracking, what about, well, give those people's energy bills free for a year. It's not rocket science. Ben, don't think me rude, my friend. I have to go, but thank you so much indeed. Ben Pyle, writer and co-founder of Climate UK. You are